Hey guys, this is Sola Scriptura here. We're going to go ahead and go through a Legacy league here with Burn. We're going to be trying out 3 Fiery Islets today, up to 20 lands from 19. The idea behind that is that the Fiery Islets will hopefully allow us to cycle into relevant gas when we need them to, but we're not playing too many of them or too few of them. Might be correct to run 4, might be correct to run 6. Might be correct to go up to 21 lands. This is something we're all kind of testing right now. I'm going to try 3 at the moment, see what I think. I'm also going to go up to, like I said, 20 lands from 19, so we are increasing a land. To compensate for adding Fiery Islet to the deck, I'm cutting a Flame Rift down to 2 in the main, since we're going to be taking a little bit more damage, theoretically. Flame Rift is going to be a little bit worse against us. I still want to keep Eidolon because Storm is somewhat popular right now, and I think that you typically have to have an Eidolon effect to win those kind of games. We're also going to shave a Light up the stage and add a Skewer the Critics. The reason we're shaving Light up the stage is Patrick Sullivan said he was going down to 2, but another main reason is the fact that we're adding other ways to dig into other cards, so we don't really need Light up the stage as much. I'm also adding another Skewer the Critics because Death and Taxes is getting a little bit more popular, so having more targeted removal will be nice. But if we run into Chalice decks, we'll also be able to play around it fairly easily with Skewer the Critics. It might be correct to go up Rift Bolt rather than Skewer the Critics, but I only have 3 in my account right now, and I'm still a little bit worried about flipping one off of Light Up the Stage, so we'll see what happens. I'm still going to stick with 3 Fire Blast. I think that's probably fine to still continue with Fire Blast at this point. If I went up to 4, I might maybe think about shaving one, but even then, I don't know if it would matter. If I went up to 5 or 6, I'd probably definitely shave one at that point, but, we'll see. As far as the sideboard goes, I'm liking this sideboard enough right now. Pyrostatic Pillar might be needing to be a 2 of, since Storm is getting a little bit more popular, but we'll see. We've got 2 Ensnaring Bridges on the side to help with Sneak and Show, which is a little bit more popular right now, and it's also replacing the Searing Bloods or Volcanic Fallout that would normally be in the side. So I'm liking Ensnaring Bridge. There's a lot of creature matchups out there right now that can help against. Unfortunately, in some of them, they're going to have artifact removal for cards like Sulfuric Vortex, whether it be Disenchant or more than likely Council's Judgment, so it's not always an automatic victory if you've won the first game against them, but it is another target that they have to go answer, and they're looking for a very specific card in their deck to win at that point, whereas you're drawing so many redundant pieces that Ensnaring Bridge should buy you a reasonable amount of time. You can also use it as bait to get the Council's Judgment out of their hand and then resolve something that's just absolutely game-winning against them, like Sulfuric Vortex if you're playing against something like Blue-White Stoneblade. So anyways, let's go ahead and let's start a league here. See what we can do with this list. We've got our first match. Really excited that we're going to have the London Mulligan. I think that will help us a reasonable amount. I think it'll make the deck a little bit more... I'll give you a little bit more power over the kind of starting hands you get. This hand is basically the hand you dream about with Burn, so we'll keep. And we're going first, which is excellent. There's Goblin Guide. Let's see if this needs a Force of Will or not. It does not. Ponder, okay. Generally, we like playing against Ponder decks unless they're Storm. Even against Storm, though, this hand is fairly solid. So we'll see what happens here. I imagine this is probably just a Ponder. The land he fetches will kind of tell us a little bit more about what he's doing. This is likely to be Miracles, based off of old Flooded Strand plus Island. Seems like Miracles players, in general, from what I've noticed, and this isn't a hard fact, but Miracles players seem to really respect the kind of lands that they play. So we're going to play the Mountain. We're going to play around Daze, just in case this is a Delver deck. And at this point, we're not going to play around Daze, because if our opponent dazes here, they're really far behind, and we really would like to get in as much damage as we can in case our opponent plays a, what's it called? Counterbalance the following turn. So this looks like it could be Storm. If it is Storm, we do just have him dead next turn, which is sweet. Really great hand from us. This is exactly what you're looking for if you're going against Storm and you don't have an Eidolon. in your hand is something that's got 2 creatures and a ton of 1-mana burn spells, basically. If our opponent Thoughtseizes us here, funny enough, that actually does save them a little bit of, like, a life here. Our opponent's just going to try to go off on turn 2. Okay. That's kind of a crazy hand. Oh, it's Tin Fins. That's my guess. Okay. That's pretty good for us. So we do just have the opponent still just dead here. We're not going to show him the Fiery Islet. We'll play the Lightning Bolt first, because that's what's actually going to kill him, in case he just happens to have Daze. Okay, cool. Alright. So that card's great for us, by the way. We'll bring in the Tormod's Crypts, because we can nail that if we'd like to, and we'll also bring in Pyrostatic Pillar. Other cards that would be good against him will be something like... No, that's about it. Yeah. Cards will be bad against him. I don't know if I like Light Up the Stage when I'm going second, because it's really slow. We're definitely taking out the Searing Bloods. Riftbolt is fairly slow. I generally like siding out Riftbolt because of how slow it is, especially if you hit it off of a Light Up the Stage. The real question is, do I want Light Up the Stage more than I want Riftbolt? And the other question is, do I want to Light Up the Stage if he's going to be refilling my hand for me? I'm not sure that I do. I mean, these are in exile, so that's like not really part of the question necessarily, but the point is, like, do I need to dig with Light Up the Stage if he's digging for me? I think I'm going to try taking out the light-ups since I'm going second, and when I go first I'll probably bring him in since I can hit Tormod's Crypt. But, like, the earliest I'm hitting Tormod's Crypt is maybe turn 2, and that's if I have a way of dealing damage and being able to play the Light Up the Stage as well. I'll leave them in. I'll take out the Riftbolts. We'll just see. We'll see. The only reason I'm thinking about leaving them in is strictly because Tormod's Crypt might be really good. He is kept. I think that we will keep as well because we do have a piece of interaction and a fairly fast hand. Our hand can deal 13 damage, assuming he does 2, that puts him at 15 total damage. Meaning we only have to draw 2 more burn spells to get there. I don't know. I mean, we've got a way of stopping Echo. And Echo's, like, actually okay for us as well sometimes. I don't know. Maybe we're supposed to keep this, maybe we're not supposed to keep this. I think if I had the London Mulligan, I might mulligan this. Let's just see what happens. Because, like, this hand will prevent him from being able to use Ad Nauseam, kind of. So I like that about it. And, like, we might just mulligan, and he might just have Thoughtseize, and, you know, it just doesn't really matter what we do, necessarily. Okay, there's Tormod's Crypts. We will go ahead and just cast a Lava Spike at him. These are the kind of games where having the Fiery Islet probably won't matter very much. He's got a slow hand here. Well, that's a great draw. I think what we're going to do is cast Flame Rift here. The reason we want to cast Flame Rift is if we do end up drawing a 1-mana burn spell, we can just kill him, basically, if he fetches these. Right? Because he's going to go down to 13, go down to 11. Yeah, I think that was probably correct. The downside here is if he goes for an Ad Nauseam, he has more life total. So that was probably something to think about, but I don't know. We'll see. Interesting. So he's just going to kill me this way, it seems like. So he's going to Infernal Tutor Chain. Okay. That's fair enough. Oh. Duh. Flamer kills me? Sure. That was something to think about, but he sold the mana to Infernal Tutor Chain. Yeah, just run it back, I suppose. Still think the hand was fine to keep. This one's kind of slow. Could probably try Mulligan. We'll have to keep this one, and we might end up just losing this one, unfortunately. That's something we've signed up for, though. I'm not going to cast the Lightning Bolt here. I need to be able to have it as an activator for Skewer. Now I will bolt him. So I'm not casting this Skewer pretty much no matter what I do anyways. Skewer flooded. I might have been supposed to play Fiery Islet there, actually. I'm thinking about it, because he kept his 7, which means we need to find Eidolon ASAP, basically. And our best way of doing that is by cracking this Fiery Islet. Could also just be dead, I guess. He might have even boarded out the Time Twisters, or whatever they're called. Nope, he's got him. Let's see if this does for us. Okay, we do have a Fire Blast, but no instants in the hand, unfortunately, besides the Fire Blast. This is a pretty awful 7. Oh, he can just keep going. That's crazy. Wow, that's really good. At least we have a Flame Rift here. That's nice. I mean, a Lightning Bolt here. I haven't seen an Eidolon any of these times either. I definitely should have bolted in there. Ugh. It's not really going to matter, but I mean, putting him down to 2 is pretty nice against Ad Nauseam specifically. Or putting him down to just being dead to a couple different things. Just passes the turn here. Sweet. We get there? Wow. Okay, cool. Well, that deck does seem very insane. We got super lucky there, misplayed a few different times. Should have cast the Lightning Bolt on his instep after he was passing. I'm glad we didn't cast the Fire Blast early. That would have been pretty bad. Didn't see Eidolons really at all in that game. Didn't end up needing them. Tormod's Crypt is probably fairly good against that version. but at the same time, depending on what life total they're at, their Time Twister card, Echo of Eons, or whatever it is, might be pretty good for you. I'll have to see what the new lines are that come out of that card. I mean, I guess the lines are like kind of random still. Pretty weird. They're going to be able to kill... Still have to rely on the graveyard that way. And like if they've gone all in and they have no cards in hand and they're going to go for the Time Twister, obviously like the top of your deck is better than the top of their deck at that point, so you just activate your Tormod script. I don't know. It might make them more reliant on the graveyard, depending on how they build. Like if they're running Entomb, that's making them a lot more reliant on their graveyard at that point. Guess we can always see what folks are running. If this is going to have that in it. Yeah, it's not. Wow. So Storm was already doing well even without people messing around with that card. Yeah, so this just isn't as up-to-date as we'd like it to be. So if Storm does get more popular, depending on how good Tormod's Crypt is against this newer version, Pyrostatic Pillar will obviously be our go-to card. It'd probably increase it by one more copy. Let's go ahead and join this match. But, I mean, Storm is one of the combo decks we can actually beat without having a hate piece. This hand's pretty good, and we're going first, so we'll keep this. Got the double Eidolon, which is nice, and we might get to see some Fiery Islet action. Opponent's mulliganing to 6, put one card on top. It's my go. I will play this here Swift Spear, my dude. I wouldn't mind seeing this get hit by a force, because then our Eidolons are pretty likely to stick around. I also wouldn't mind this being a Storm deck, because if he does have Thoughtseize, we can just land an Eidolon and still win. Other than that, Eidolon is usually fairly good. Okay, it is looking like it's going to be Storm, is my guess. It could still be Grixis Control, but if I had to guess, I would guess that it's probably... chooses to not shuffle. Yeah, it could still be Storm. I think Storm is probably less likely to shuffle. Go ahead and attack. With the new cards on MTGO right now, I do think that the amount of Storm is probably going to go up. And after we resolve the... okay. So Izzying a Force of Will, and another Ponder entered the Exile Zone. So it might be Grixis at this point then, which the Fiery Islets should help us with. So Brainstorm, probably going to see a fetch here. We'll attack with Swift Spear. Hopefully that will eat some sort of removal. Okay, we do see a fetch land. It could just be Death Shadow then at this point, would be my guess. So he does not have a Daze, but he did just Brainstorm. I do think we still want to attack with our Swift Spear first. Try to get a Fatal Push out of him. We'll resolve this Eidolon. And I'll think about... Okay. Let's see here. Think about if I want to Daze or not. I mean, if I want to Lightning Bolt or not. Opponent is looking for another Force of Will, or more than likely maybe just resolving the Brainstorm. Oh, that's really cool that they put these in here. Not sure how much of a fan of I am of that, like next to the... Like, this just doesn't really look very good in my opinion, but... Is this going to eat another Force? Okay, Force pitching Force. I think I value the potential damage more than I value the casting of Lightning Bolt right there. Interested to see if our opponent goes and gets a Watery Grave here or not. Badlands. So this is just Grixis Control then. It does have the Bolt for our Swift Spear. So things aren't shaping up super well for us. We're going to do everything we can to play around any card he could have in his hand, like a Spell Pierce. So let's just go ahead and we will cast Flame Rift here. Have us both take 4, and I'll just pass the turn after that. And we'll just take this nice and slow. He's got to present some sort of threat, some sort of clock that's going to be meaningful, and we've got him dead to basically any burn spell off the top, and we have a Fiery Islet in play, which is nice. He's destroying fetch lines, apparently. He's going to be able to copy Chain Lightning soon, but I don't really know if I care. I think I'm just going to cast another Flame Rift. Have us both take 4. And just keep going back. I don't know if Grixis... I don't feel like Grixis Control would run Spell Pierce, because it's such an unoptimal card sometimes. In fact, it could be more likely that they actually draw into, like, a Hymn to Turok. So I think I'm not going to play around Spell Pierce at this point. I'm just going to throw Chain Lightning at his head, and if he draws a Hymn to Turok, we can kill him. Okay, he actually does have Spell Pierce. Brutal. It was one or the other, right? Let's also find a threat, and I still think we're going to find Spot. This could just be Pyromancer as well. So this is a true name? Oh, Grixis Thieves, okay. That's fair, I suppose. Throw that. See if we can find any card to kill him here. There we go. Cool. Well, that's a point for Fiery Islet then. That was sweet. Okay, so Grixis, we're definitely going to bring in Vortex, and we're going to bring in Pyrostatic Pillar, and we'll bring in Price of Progress, all just really big hitter cards that he doesn't want to resolve. We'll keep in Searing Blood, there's going to be enough targets for it. Cards we'll probably take out would maybe be something like Flame Rift. It's just very slow and very predictable, and Price of Progress is already going to do a better job. That being said, if we're throwing bolts at early creatures, I don't know. What do we not want? I can see Searing Blood being bad. Let's look up real quick. Snapcaster Mage and Notion Thief. Not sure how this works necessarily with Fiery Islet. That probably still works if I crack Fiery Islet. I think that I should, like, I think if I crack Fiery Islet on their turn and they have Notion Thief, I'm gonna have a bad time, is what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna keep, what's it called in, though? Searing Blood. I do think that Flame Rift is one of the first, okay, well, I do think Flame Rift would be one of the first things to go, because you're bringing in another Pyrostatic Pillar, and you've got the Fiery Islets, so I think you just trim both of those, and then you've got 4 more cards you want to take out. I could see maybe cutting a Fire Blast, because you don't need to kill them all that quickly, and they don't have counterbalance. So you could probably cut Fire Blast, maybe even 2 Fire Blasts. You've already got your big hitters of, like, Price of Progress coming in, and Pyrostatic Pillar, and Sulfuric Vortex, where they just have to immediately answer those cards, else they're going to get taken down pretty quickly. So I could see cutting Fire Blasts, Flame Rift, and, like, one of something else, like maybe like a Searing Blood or something, I don't know. Just because the reason we would maybe want to cut Searing Blood is if we know that they're running Hymn to Turok, it's a card that can get hit by Hymn to Turok. You know, like, that's just been sitting in your hand. Like, maybe you're both just top decking, and, like, you have Searing Blood, and they just, like, Hymn to Turok you and counter your Searing Blood that way, basically. So I could see that being a reason why you would maybe cut that as your 6th card. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump back into this. See what we can do here. Okay. Well, this has been going well so far. I mean, we hit a pretty good amount of luck against this guy, and this guy just want to play against Burn, which is understandable. It's probably a fairly good matchup for us. Fiery Islet did kind of win us a game there. We were likely to win it anyways, but it ended the game before he could really do anything, which is quite nice. Our opponent was about to start using DAC to get their game plan going a little bit quicker. Our opponent was basically effectively at 1 because they had an uncracked fetch land, so just about anything getting in at any point, including a Swift Spear, was going to kill him, and fetch lands were going to be bad draws for him, but he'd be able to lead him away with DAC. So, I don't know. We can chalk it up as something that was nice about the card, was just being able to kill him before it mattered, but we would probably have won anyways if those were mountains. I don't know. We were able to draw 3 cards in one turn, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, I might end up being sold on these. We'll have to see. The problem is that was a match where the card is going to look its best, right? Like our opponent wasn't running Wastelands. We got plenty of time to use it. The damage we were potentially taking from the card was going to be irrelevant for most of the game. So the real question is like, if it's your... I don't know. I was thinking about it, like if it's your 4th land and you never tap it for mana. Yeah, well, in that case, you'd rather... You're glad it's a Fiery Islet anyways. I don't know. Strange. These hands have been pretty good, but this one's not great. If this Fire Blast was anything else that was like a 1-mana spell, I might keep it, just out of greed, since we are running the 20th land now, but... Opponent's going first. We do get 2 draws to look at a land. That puts us at like, what, like 60% chance to find one, probably. Sounds pretty insane if we find another land. I don't know. If this was a 6, I would keep it, is the thing. But this Fire Blast is just like such a dead card. That's why I only run 3. It's for like hands like this. Like, you don't want to have 2 of them for sure. So, like, what hands would be better than this? I mean, if we draw, like, the thing is if we draw a land in the top 2 cards of our deck, this hand is probably pretty insane compared to, like, other cards we could have. Go mulligan. This hand's better. I'll keep this. I think that I like that. It's kind of awkward with the Skewer the Critics and the Fire Blast, but I don't know. We'll see. I think I like it. It makes up for the mulligan that we took, basically, as long as we can cast both cards. I don't know if I'm going to fire it off right away. Might wait a second. Okay, if my opponent doesn't do anything here, I'm kind of scared and I might have to fire it off right away and find an Eidolon. I think I'm going to pass here. I don't want to play a Fiery Islet out. Like, I'm okay with him knowing that burn. I think we get punished a lot harder if he's playing Wasteland and we just like play Fiery Islet and he just like Wastelands us and we just don't do anything with that mana. So opponent just drew Ponder, I guess, which is probably fairly scary for us. Chooses to shuffle, which is good. So we draw... Okay. I am, at this point, probably going to play a Fiery Islet, I think. Let's see if this eats a Daze. Might also be Miracles still. Okay, this is probably Miracles at this point. He's going to Spell Pierce this. There's nothing we could have done about that anyways. Okay. In that case, we've got a little bit more time here with what we do. And first hand might have been insane against Miracles, unfortunately. Chooses to shuffle, so he might be looking for lands. I'm feeling like he's probably just doing this and then he's going to play a fetch land, would be my guess. I think that's the correct sequencing on his part. He's probably looking for his Monastery Mentor, if I had to guess. And fetch land right here. Chooses to shuffle, meta fetch land. Okay, sure. I think I'm likely to cast Light the stage here for the heck of it. See what we can find. See if this needs a Force of Will or not. If it does, totally fine with it. Okay. Those are both castable cards next turn. So we got some card advantage out of the Light Up the Stage there. Opponent's still at 18, which is quite horrendous for us. The cool thing is, if our opponent leads on Monster Mentor here and like holds up a land or just has a Force of Will in hand, we can cast Skewer the Critics and... oh, it's Stoneforge, okay. Well, that's scary. Batter Skull. That's pretty cocky there. Chain Lightning the opponent here. I think we're mostly okay with our opponent playing a Batter Skull. It's time to see if they've got absolute everything. Does he have a Spell Pierce is the real question. Okay. Does have the swords. That's really unfortunate. We might have swung there first, but it probably wouldn't have mattered, actually. So our opponent's hand is lined up incredibly well with ours. Unfortunately, we've also drawn a little bit too many lands. Our opponent does have the mana for Batter Skull. So we will go ahead and just shoot that with our Fire Blast. We don't have much of a choice. Creature would go a long way here as long as he doesn't have a Snapcaster Major. Okay, sure. So that's at least going to set him back a little bit here. He's down to 2 cards in hand. Hopefully he's got just a land or something like that. Be really great for us. If he has a Snapcaster Mage, we're in trouble, but I think we still have to attack anyways. Hopefully we can draw like a Lightning Bolt here. We'll go ahead and cycle the Fiery Islet. Okay, I do think the Swift Spear is probably worth playing here. Just get the damage in. Like I said, if he has a Snapcaster, we're just in trouble. There's really not much we can do. Does have the swords. He's going to be able to return the Batter Skull to his hand and play it again next turn. So this is probably just game for us. Good news is this matchup gets a lot better for us heading forward. And he's playing Delver. Okay. Totally empty-handed. See if we can find a Fire Blast here. Okay, we cannot, and that's just going to be game. Bring in the E-Bridge, we'll bring in the Vortex, we will bring in the Smash, and we'll bring in a Pyrostatic Pillar. Cards we're going to cut. Going to be cards like, probably Flame Rift. I don't believe he's going to have Leyline of Sanctity in the sideboard. We'll see, though. Okay, does not look like there's a reason to run Leyline in the sideboard at the moment. I'm trying to think of what else I took out against them. Like, just cards like Lava Spike, probably. Probably cut one of those. Cut a Fire Blast. Could also shave a land if we really wanted to. Let's see, we're going first. Might cut a skewer. Yeah, I'll cut Revolt. Sure, hand seems fine. Mulligan to 5, please. Please, no. Puts one card on top. Let's see if they've got a Force of Will for the Goblin Guide or not. Doesn't seem like they do, which means they either don't have it or they have a Swords to Plowshares. Could be right on top of their library. They put Polluted Delta on top, assuming we'd have the Goblin Guide, which also makes sense. We'll still attack again. We won't show them anything else, and then we'll try to play out an Eidolon, which would probably then eat the Force of Will, is my guess. Not surprised to play the Polluted Delta here. That's the land that we know about. It also gives them control over the top of their deck. Ew, do we want to play Eidolon now? No, because then they'll just plow the Eidolon at that point. I feel like Eidolon is probably fairly good against them. So if they're gonna plow something, I'd rather it be this Goblin Guide. Even though they're gonna get a little... Okay, what? Even though they're gonna get a little bit of extra information off of this Goblin Guide. I'm a little surprised that he didn't just wait to see like what was on top. I guess it... Because if you see something else on top and he doesn't want to fetch... I don't know. Like, maybe he doesn't have a Mystic in hand, and he's just really looking for that. We'll see if he has a Force of Will or not. Seemingly not have one. Which could be really good for us. Here comes... Ooh! Right, I'm liking this. Rarely does Eidolon do his job, but when he does, you've won the game. Please shuffle. Chooses to shuffle. Deal. Deal. Oh, you dummy. You actual dummy. Please choose to shuffle. Draws a card. Chooses to not shuffle, draws a card. Deal. Attack first. I don't think he's playing Daze. I guess Daze will still do a reasonable amount of damage to him. See if we can lock him out with an Eidolon here. Pow. This will probably eat a Force of Will, is my guess. I think he might have found one by now. He's had a couple draw steps to find one. Yep, it does. It shows to get rid of Vendilion Click. To remove this, he'll go down to 3. If he ends up doing that. Expecting a Snapcaster Mage here. If... okay, we've got a couple different options. We can attack, even if the opponent gets rid of Eidolon, that does activate Light the Stage for us now. I think we just attack. No reason to light the stage first. This is really a death sentence for him if he... So he does have the Snapcaster. Oh, boy. Depending on what he targets here, we will bolt the Snapcaster. He does target the swords, so that is his intended path, supposedly. I don't know if he can afford... Yeah, okay. Cool. We'll just cast Light the Stage. See if we can't find a burn spell. There's a Goblin Guide there, which is fairly sweet. When the opponent fetches, I might bolt them as well. Yeah, just get through that Spell Pierce. No more fetch lands. Oh, derp. That was really stupid. Really, really bad on my part. Sorry, guys. Should have saved it for the next turn when he wouldn't have the flashback on that. Okay. Ended up getting there anyways. That was awkward. So, does anything change here? I don't think that it does. We just want to have slightly more interaction on this game, because he's going to have turn 2 Stone Forges for us to worry about. However, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 kind of potential ways to interact with the Stone Forge then. So I think I'm just okay. You know, like Fire Blast is a last resort interaction. Golly, this hand is not super attractive. He's kept 7. We do have a way of interacting, but if he has Force of Will, we're in trouble. That being said, we do have an Ensnaring Bridge. I think we can do better than this. Yes, I would call this better than that. We'll put that on top. That's some more interaction for a Stone Forge. We want to lead on Goblin Guide. 1, because it's our better play, but 2, because Swiftspear can punch through a Snapcaster Mage. If that ends up being a thing. I'm expecting a Swords to Plowshares here. If he doesn't have it, we're in pretty good shape. Got a Delver. He may or may not want to fetch that away, depending on his hand. Okay. He's going to fetch it away anyways after taking the damage, which is kind of strange. Oh, Brainstorm, sure. Brainstorm right now is not great, though. So, Stoneforge? Yes, Stoneforge. What are you gonna get? Probably Jit would be my guess. We do not want to lead on Swiftspear here. We want a Batterskull. Greedy boy. We're still gonna kill that, obviously. Let's see if the Chain Lightning will get through. Does. We'll lead on Swiftspear now. It's kind of risky. He has a window here of being able to play a second Stoneforge Mystic and just getting us, just really punching us for not suspending this Rift Bolt. Like if we just don't draw anything good, and he has like a Force of Will or a, what's it called at that point? A Spell Pierce at that point. But there's not really a lot we can do, honestly. I think we will play the Fiery Islet, because that helps us play around Spell Pierce. And we'll probably just go attacking. After that, we'll probably play Eidolon and suspend a Rift Bolt. So we know about that. He no longer has the Delver. So there is a Swords to Plowshares in our future. I think we're going to be patient here. And play as slowly as we can. Let's play this Eidolon, see if this eats a Force, or maybe draws out a counterspell, even. Does not. Okay. That likely means he has a Snapcaster Mage in hand. Would be my guess, based on the fact that he did basically nothing with his turn. It's either that or he has a pile of lands, and that's why he got Batterskull specifically. True name. Okay. That's pretty good with a Batterskull attached to it. Turns out. given that he's likely to play a... I can't even hit that anymore. I was going to say, given that he's likely to play Batterskull next turn, I was kind of thinking about just attacking and putting him down to... like, making sure I get 2 damage in, basically. I think it's probably correct to attack here. I really feel like he's probably going to play Batterskull next turn. And yes, there's a world where like I attack here and Eidolon is freed up and all of a sudden he's able to Brainstorm. But he's also been Brainstorm blocked. I feel like it's correct to attack. I'm sorry, guys. Part of me really wants to fire off this lightning bolt here and put him down to 2. But then I can't remove the Batterskull. But I also get blown out by Batterskull. I'm just going to throw the lightning bolt at his face. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If he has a swords now, he'll also take 2 damage from that. He also still even has to have the land here. Okay, so he is going to take damage from that. So he is saving a damage there. So we've had 3. So yeah, I'll be 1, 2, 3, and I can't pay that, so no, it's countered. I mean, he still goes down to, 3 here. No reason to cast a Searing Blood for an extra point of damage there, necessarily. Let's see what our opponent has cooked up for us. Just need to find any damage spell off the top of our deck, basically, and hope he doesn't have a Force of Will. Which is maybe what we're up against. Okay, turns out it was not correct to get rid of our Eidolon, but you can only play with so much information. Fetch Land doesn't really do too much to him here. Although him playing a Delver or something would be really sweet for us. I would love for him to attack with True Name here as well. If he has... Man, if he has like a Jit or something, we're in trouble. Like if he can go land, Jit attached to True Name. But, I don't know. We'll just see what happens here. Opponent might be locked. Might be why they're thinking so hard. To the other hand, it's just like busted and we're in trouble. But we'll see. Very likely to crack Islet here. We get kind of punished if we find a Rift Bolt. Smash. Alright. That's a good one. We will play the land and just have to pass. Would really love for him to play a Snapcaster here to bait out. What's up? Yeah, just a second though. He does play the Snapcaster. In response to the brainstorm, do we want to Searing Blood this right now? I think so. Maybe I was supposed to wait for him to crack the Flooded Strand if he has another Spell Pierce, but he might find Force of Will. I don't know. We're mostly just trying to clear the way for the Smash the Smithereens to win us the game. It's kind of the way I'm looking at this. So he does have the Force of Will, doesn't matter. He's going to keep that anyways. Now he's got a Brainstorm, and he's got a Batterskull in hand, and probably some other random card. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I should have waited for him to resolve Brainstorm. I don't know. He's just so much more likely to find like a Flusterstorm or a Spell Pierce or a Force of Will off of the Brainstorm rather than just having one in hand. And like he doesn't even need to crack his fetch land here if he doesn't want to. Okay, he will anyways because his Brainstorm. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Is it still recording? Yeah, okay, cool. Supposedly, right? He is going to Swords his own guy. Okay. That's really an interesting play for us, with the Swiftspear in play. So I'm thinking he's just going to jam a Batterskull here. Would really love him to not have another land. I doubt he has Force of Will plus blue card in hand. He might. I hope he doesn't have another land. I also hope he attacks a Snapcaster. Okay, he does not. Well, it's all or nothing here. Sweet. Think we got there? Woo! Alright, cool. Another shaky one. Ended up getting there, though. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and try pausing this. Okay, we're back. So yeah, really haven't been playing super well this league, honestly, but we've been getting there. Gotten lucky when we needed to, and Fiery Islet has been pretty nice. We still haven't played against a Wasteland deck, so that's still a matter of contention, I guess, that we haven't really been able to show any data for, but the deck's been doing well, and Fiery Islet has come in clutch a few times. Gotten us a card early when we need to be a card early. Like finding that smash when we did kind of helped us know that we needed to get a Force of Will out of our hand, I guess. I don't know. Cool. So we got our money back from this league and then some, which is nice. Allows me to play another league for free. You know, we played against a wide variety there. We played against two pretty well-known meta decks and played against Grixis Thieves, which is probably just a really bad matchup for that opponent, unfortunately. Yeah, off to a good start so far. Let's see if we can continue the win streak here. We're playing against the Storm opponent again. He's probably not super excited to see us. This hand is worth keeping. We do have an Eidolon in hand, and we've also just got a fast hand. The opponent might not be on Storm, but I'm assuming with the new tech, he's probably wanting to keep that. I really hope our opponent mulligans and Slash doesn't realize that we're on burn. But yeah, I would really like a land off the top here. We've got a couple looks at a land. Light the Stage can maybe get us there. I do think that we're going to have to light up the stage, more than likely. Okay, first little miss right there. We are up another land, like I said, which helps quite a bit. Let's see if our opponent uses a Brainstorm here to get free cards off of the Goblin Guide. Let's see that being a real thing. It is the same deck. So, funny enough, if our opponent decides to go for a Time Twister here, that will actually end up helping us quite a bit. Apparently we're just dead. Yeah, it's looking like we're just dead. Depending on what our opponent hits here, I suppose. Okay, this hand's still pretty good. Definitely take it. Could just lock him out this following turn, but we might just... Yeah, we're just dead. Okay, cool. Yep. So, turn 2 kill from Storm. Nothing almost any deck could do in that spot, I imagine. Okay, let's have it. Alright. Well played from the opponent. Good realizing that we were dead there. We'll go ahead and bring in the pillar. That was basically us just losing the die roll, more or less, unfortunately. I think that's just how we kind of want to go about it. I might want to light up the Sage still, take out Searing Blood. We'll even Fire Blast, because that could just kill him from certain spots. I think that we cut Riftbolt. The downside to a card like Flame Rift is it's so mana inefficient compared to Riftbolt, but Riftbolt off the top of the deck is so much slower than Flame Rift. I don't know, we'll see what happens here. We've got a lot of powerful 2-drops we'd rather be playing than Flame Rift anyways, but... I guess that's not true. Light the Stage is basically 1-drop, and this is the only other 2-drop we brought in. We don't have as many pillars anymore. Hand looks great. We'll keep it. Why not? We know the opponent has Thoughtseize, so... here's the downside of these kind of having too many of these in the deck is, you know, if our opponent's a Wasteland deck, this hand's potentially unkeepable, depending on how their draw goes. Opponent has decided to keep, not particularly exciting for us. The real question is whether our opponent has, like, Echoing Truth or something for our Eidolon. They have a Lion's Eye Diamond, so that's potentially a turn 1 kill, depending on. Would be my guess. Let's see if their deck can do the thing. And it's looking like it can. Right. This may or may not end up being banned because of stuff like this, potentially. Because that was like a pretty medium start, I guess. I don't know. That's pretty good. The other downside to this is we do not have Fire Blast active right now, so I don't even know if we cast it necessarily, but it's a thing, I suppose. Floodstrand, Polluted Delta, not particularly excited to be giving our opponent that many more lands, but nothing we can do about it necessarily. The other real downside of this is, like, they're going to get to a point where they have enough mana to be able to, like, just put something into the graveyard and then just cast it before I can even respond to Tormod's Crypt. Yeah, so that's a thing. Chooses to not shuffle, never a great sign. Underground Sea, he's got 9 cards in hand, he's going to have to discard 2, unless he just does something here. Could also just be dead if he's pondered, decided not to shuffle, and played something that wasn't a fetch land. So, all real things. He's just going to ponder again, so he just wants another card that he saw. I don't know. I mean, we can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. We can just kill him. Okay, sure. He could still technically go off here if he has a Lotus Petal. It doesn't look like he's going to, though. He discards the Flooded Strand and the Polluted Delta, and we've drawn another card that will basically guarantee that we kill him. No real reason to cast Lava Spike there, but no real reason to not cast Lava Spike there. Flooded Strand and Tendrils. Fire Blast you. Got him, coach. Turn 3 kill. Okay, good enough. So the opponent almost did the thing, but then they didn't. Don't know if we're supposed to bring in Smash, like, at all. It just feels like such a bad card against them. But, like, there's instances where you just, like, get them, you know, and it feels really good. Yeah, I guess we'll keep this. We've got the capacity to play a card he can't beat or deal with very easily on turn 2, so he's got to go off on turn 2. Otherwise, I'm not super excited about this hand, but he might just go off on turn 1 and kill us, you know, so nothing you can do about it. He's kept every 7-card hand he's had, and he's been able to kill us on turn 1 or 2, potentially. Hopefully this Ponder whiffs and he just doesn't find a land. It'd be so great. Be like, wow, you greedy man. You greedy, greedy man. Chooses to not shuffle. So there's the land and probably a Thoughtseize here. No. Okay. Take this, you idiot. Go ahead. Please don't kill me. No kill. No kills. Don't kill me. This deck does seem to, like, spin its tires. Kind of interesting. Oh, he had to go get the blue source. Sure. Chooses to shuffle, draws a card. Deal. This deck does seem to spin its tires a little bit more than the other Storm deck. Beat that. Beat that card. He will. He'll have Echoing Truth. We can draw. If you cast another spell here. Okay. What's he gonna do here? Lotus Petal? Sure. Might still just be dead. Yeah, we're just dead. Cool. So he does have the Echoing Truth. Yes, that goes to the Eon. And we do not have a Fire Blast, so we might just be dead. There's a way of getting rid of it permanently, though, which is kind of cool, I suppose, but we'll just see what happens here. Yeah, sure. So if he doesn't have the Echoing Truth, we win, probably, then. It's getting kind of greedy here. Kill me. Okay, well. I'm guessing this is enough to kill us now. Like, I'm guessing he has it. Yeah, he's got it, basically. Okay, sure. Okay. So that was basically a die roll loss, more or less. If he doesn't have Echoing Truth, we also win. Not bad. I'll take it. Yeah, it might be a lot more consistent at winning turn 1 now, which is very scary. But the good news is it'll probably get banned at that point. Not really sure why Wizards keep printing cards like that. They can be abused by Storm, but I don't know. So let's see if we can go 4-1 and walk away with a pretty good record here. So let's see, opponent killed us on turn 2 in the first game. And didn't really even have that nutty of a hand, really. I think you more or less just have to have some amount of, like, if you have Lion's Eye Diamond in that card in your hand, you can just kill people. From turn 2. Because you can just keep finding Lion's Eye Diamonds and, like, Lotus Petals and Dark Rituals and all that stuff. And then he killed us on turn 3, and he kills on turn 3 in that last game, but he had to have Echoing Truth to do so. And he probably, yeah, we'll keep Sand. Sand's sweet. He probably would have killed us on turn 3 of the game that we killed him on turn 3. That's my guess. We've done fairly well on die rolls, though, I will say that. Cast Lava Spike, and hope their opponent just concedes. Okay, well, they're braver than our round 2 opponent. Could be anything with Polluted Delta. Probably Storm at this point, could still be Miracles. Definitely going to put an Eidolon into play here. It could get hit by Daze, but if it's Storm, we really need to get this Eidolon into play, and Storm won't run Daze, so most of the time. Sometimes they can just get you with a random Daze out of nowhere, but see what happens. Okay, this does hit a Force of Will, which means it's probably is not Storm then. Decks that are Storm decks that do run Force of Will, where Eidolon is still good, is going to be something like High Tide, which is a deck that we're pretty excited to see most of the time, because Force of Will is one of their few ways of really interacting with us. Okay, that's unfortunate. This is... oh, okay. I was thinking Preordain plus Blue-Red is usually going to be Sneak and Show, but it's not the case right now. We're just going to Chain Lightning this guy. He has 3 damage marked, so he's dead, and he's realizing he's not going to be able to redirect this Chain Lightning right now, which is fine. There's a world where we play Eidolon there, and like things turn out really good for us, but the other world is like, he just bolts it and runs out of the game, basically. So, let's just deal with his threat, and then we can see if he can answer ours, because his threats have a lot more staying and sticking power than ours do. Opponent looks like they're going to be stuck on lands, which is not good for us, necessarily. We will go ahead and play the other Eidolon out. This might eat another Force of Will, if he's got one. I'm expecting potentially a Lightning Bolt here. A little surprised that he Force of Willed the first one, but he did have the Lightning Bolt all along. That's interesting to me. It means that he wanted to get his Young Pyromancer out, basically. Which is fine. I'm just surprised to see him like pitch a Brainstorm. I don't know. We're generally okay with a Lightning Bolt trading for one of our creatures. Totally fine. Especially if it's a an Eidolon, because Eidolon's still doing at least 2 damage to that point, and getting rid of one of their more impactful cards. Preordain. The opponent did choose to shuffle off of their Ponder. Now they're going to be casting Preordain, which they likely found off of the Ponder. Puts 2 cards on top and did draw a card. Might be a threat at this point in the game, would be my guess. This is a fairly good opportunity to light up the stage. I think I'm okay with doing that. I'd really like to find some lands. Okay, we do. Very good. I think I'm also going to cast this as well. At their face. The real question is, will our Filey Islet get hit by a Wasteland right now? This is a deck that does run Wasteland. There's Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay. Okay. I don't know that we care at this stage in the game. Searing Blood will probably hit one of his creatures at some point. We do have enough to be able to Fire Blast fairly comfortably now, without any real major downside to that. We can throw a Skewer the Critic at his creature if we would like, and if it does eat a counterspell here, don't know if we care too much. It's also fairly hard for him to stop us from killing him here if we're willing to Fire Blast. He would have to have a Force of Will. And we would still have 2 lands in play. One that could get hit by Wasteland, which would suck. We can also play it slowly. Plenty of time on the clock to think. I kind of think I like going for it. Because no matter how this resolves, we'll be able to cast Skewer the Critics this turn and still be able to play through his Spell Pierce. So he's going to Brainstorm. He's basically looking for Force of Will at this point, plus a blue card. Or, yeah, I mean, he might have one or the other in his hand right now. He resolved that pretty quickly, which means he's likely dead, is my guess. But we'll see. Alright, cool. I'm not sure if that was the correct line or not, but it felt pretty good. We'll bring in Ensnaring Bridge. He's going to have a Braid in his sideboard, so it's not super good, but it's a thing. Bring in Pillar as well, I think. I don't think I want to bring in Sulfuric Vortex, especially when I'm going second, but this is fairly good against Dreadhorde Arcanist. So we'll go ahead and do that. He's got a little bit of burn of his own, so we're going to take out the Flame Rifts, and we will cut a Lava Spike, basically. Everything else is pretty playable. Light Up the Stage isn't super exciting against him, but it allows us to be a little bit more liberal at playing the creature control game, and then have something to get us a little bit of card advantage. We also need to be aware of Chain Lightnings, because he can pay for Chain Lightning, and we can also pay for Chain Lightning, so it's going to be correct to lead on Chain Lightning a lot of the time over something like a Lava Spike if you know for sure that you're going at their head. That being said, I do think I'm willing to lose 3 life to kill his creatures a lot of the time, so I will hold on to Chain Lightnings if it's my only targeted removal, because if you're killing a Delver, you're gaining 3 life, basically, and you're willing to you're willing to get hit by that Delver once it dies, if that makes sense. So I like all these cards we've got going on. I'm a little bit worried with Fire Blast here, because he does have Wasteland likely, and being able to get rid of my Fiery Islets might make Fire Blast a little bit worse in this matchup. I just don't know what... maybe I'd want to bring in the Lava Spike and cut a Fire Blast? I don't know. We'll see. I just like the versatility of, like, of Fire Blast being able to be that last-ditch effort of killing his Delver of Secrets or something like that that's going to get at you. And, I just think that the situations where it's bad are, like, so unlikely. I think this hand's fairly good. Winning game 1 is pretty sweet because Ensnaring Bridge can just be a lock if he doesn't bring in a Braid. He should bring in a Braid because it's all about killing my creatures. But if he uses an earlier Braid or something like that on a Goblin Guide, and maybe he only runs 2, and his sideboard Ensnaring Bridge can be a very hard lock very quickly. The downside is you've got to kill his Dreadhorde Arcanists or Arcanists when you've got Ensnaring Bridge, because he's going to be able to attack fairly often. You know, your hand is going to have some amount of cards in it still at that point, and the Dreadhorde will still be able to attack and dig him into another Braid. Or if he has some way of like pumping the Arcanist, somehow he can like flash back into Braid, basically. So we're going to go ahead and keep this. It's not super exciting. Like if he just has turn 1 Delver and like dazes my Goblin Guide or something, we're going to probably just cry, but we'll see what happens here. Just about any top deck here is fine. I'm expecting the opponent to either have one of 2 things here. Brainstorm or Lightning Bolt. I'm leaning on him having Lightning Bolt most of the time. Okay, he does have Spell Pierce, so we need to be watching out for that now. He no longer has Spell Pierce, we don't need to watch out for that anymore. But in general, we do need to be playing around it. So he does have the Lightning Bolt here. We'll see if he follows up with an Arcanist. That would be fairly brutal, if so. That would probably be one of his better openers based on the contents of our hand. So we know he doesn't have Spell Pierce for now. Okay, this is looking really great for us. What we would like to do here is play the Mountain, play the Goblin Guide, attack with Goblin Guide. Ooh, wow. Brainstorm locked. That is brutal. At this point, we can afford to play around Daze forever, so I'm not going to cast anything into Daze anymore. This might eat a Force of Will, actually. And at that point, I'm probably... get rid of Flusterstorm. At this point, I think I can play into it because I'm going to have to do that next turn anyways. I don't have a way of enabling Spectacle. So if he does Daze this, that's fine. It isn't great, but it does give us a chance to resolve Ensnaring Bridge. Does he have another Force of Will in his hand? Golly, his hand's going to be awful if he has to force this. I think that's what he's thinking about. He has to Daze this. If he has Daze, I don't think you're like thinking about that at all. I feel like he's got another Force of Will in hand. So this is stuff to kind of make note of in person when you're playing, is like get the soul read on them as best as you can and say, you know, I think my opponent has such and such card in hand at this point in the game because of how they're playing. So cards we think he probably has are basically just Force of Will at this point. We know he's stuck on Brainstorm, so the next 2 turns are going to be pointless for him. So he's going to have to Force of Will this Eidolon, which is good if we're trying to resolve an Ensnaring Bridge. So we will just play Snow-Covered Mountain here. We'll lead on the Eidolon. We're playing the Snow-Covered Mountain in case the opponent got sloppy and decided to not Daze that. Because we want to play around Daze as best as we can. We're going to go to my end of turn, and we're going to have to Lightning Bolt. It's going to go bye-bye regardless, so I'd rather get 2 damage out of his potential Flusterstorm he might have in hand. I'll take 2 damage and you can take 2 damage, kind of a thing. So he has the bolts. That's fine. His hand is actually lining up fairly well for not having very much in it. Wow, he does have the daze. That's insane. Okay. I'm a little surprised he didn't daze the light up the stage then. I think that's pretty straightforward. So this is the last turn where he's going to have cards that he knew about, basically. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and we'll play out this Eidolon at this point. And we'll suspend a Rift Bolt, and it'll be your go, sir. So opponent now is drawing live cards, I believe. Wow, does he have another lightning? Oh, Chain Lightning, sure. So we'll throw the Rift Bolt at his face, of course. After that, we're likely to play Ensnaring Bridge this turn. Gonna go ahead and play out the E-Bridge. I don't think that he has Force of Will in hand at this point. We're not gonna play. We're gonna play around Daze the rest of the game. Make that dead card off the top of his deck. He does find a Brainstorm. Very likely to hit a fetch land and then fetch at this point, putting him down to 10, which is a great number for us. If he doesn't, he'll probably just concede here. We kind of want to leave 2 untapped mana at all times for Chain Lightning as well. Plays the Wasteland. Is he going to get greedy and go after Fiery Islet? He does. Okay. Alright. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this Firebolt, this Lightning Bolt at his face when he doesn't have any sort of way to do dirty things with like Daze plus Flusterstorm. He has another Wasteland. Sure. Okay, card we're not super excited to see. That likely will have to die. Great against Searing Blood, of course, but... Okay... So, if we cast Searing Blood and Fire Blast here, his Dreadheart Arcanist won't be able to attack. But then he can just, like, hit my Fiery Islet. I don't know how I feel about that. So he's gonna he has like only Brainstorm that he can hit. I think crap, what I should have done. I should have might want to crack this Fiery Islet here to try to kill his Dreadhort Arcanist. Yeah, because, like, he's already got this. And I might have drawn a creature here in the middle to combo that with Searing Blood is what I was thinking. It's like, if I draw a creature here, I get max punished. Sweet. That being said, this does encourage him to attack. Should have thought about that for another second. And no, it doesn't matter if I draw a creature there or not, because Yeah, I still want to attack. It doesn't matter. I still should have thought more, but it doesn't matter. He's just gonna try to kill me. Sweet. Greedy guy. What a greedy dude. We do need to realize that, like, Goblin Guide isn't gonna be allowed to attack kind of soon. So that's a real thing. You may cast, so he... Okay. Does he actually have a way to kill Ensnaring Bridge? Or is he just trying to cast Lightning Bolt here? I'm a little confused. Yeah, no blocks, my man. Gets another one. Okay, okay, okay. Flusterstorm on top. Damage happens. Searing Blood that guy. No days. Right. So I'm imagining that he attacked. Do you have another one? Okay. Fair enough. So he attacks, gets lightning bolts, kills my guy. Chain lightning, sure, that makes sense. Oh, it kills me. Deal. There's the Force of Will, and we'll just kill you, actually. How about that? Alright, cool. We'll take it. Didn't play great, but we'll take it. Cool. Got some more qualifier points there. Don't really know what those are good for, but I'll take them. Oh, the mocks. Yeah, whatever. More legacy points is sweet. Yeah, liking the deck list right now. So the deck we lost to was Storm, which we did beat once. If that becomes more of a thing, we just throw in another Power Stack Pillar or two in the sideboard. Might just cut Price of Progress as well. It might be a good idea to cut that. Run that down to 2. It doesn't really seem like it's doing super well right now. The decks that we're scared of would be Turbo Depths and like 15 post or whatever, and lands and like Grixis Control. But, I mean, we're not scared of Grixis Control, but those are decks in general. They're like popular enough in this metagame right now, it seems like, where we'd want the card. Maverick is another example. Infect is another example of places where you really want the card to be able to kill your opponent faster than they kill you. So, with all that being said, the next league I run, if I were to run one again, I would cut a Price of Progress, add a Pyrostatic Pillar in the sideboard, and probably just call it good. I still like Searing Blood main. I like it a little bit less now that Dreadhorde Arcanist is picking up, but it's still a card that does work. They can't really kill your creatures that attack into it, so they can't really punish you for doing the play that we made. Like, if they have the days, they have the days, regardless if you have Searing Blades or not, basically, if that makes sense. Yeah, that was fine. Fire Islet felt really good. We saw them fairly often at 3. I don't know if I want 4, because there was the one awkward hand where if the deck that we played against was a Wasteland deck, the hand could have been pretty bad. But I can definitely see at least 3. 3 felt pretty good. 20 lands felt fine. We were hitting our land drops when we needed to. We weren't getting out-tempoed by missing land drops. A card we may want to watch in the main board is Flame Rift. that might be a card you start chalking up next to Fiery Islet and seeing how often Flame Rift is killing you because of Fiery Islet being in your deck. I don't think it's going to be that often, but it's still something to watch out for. The other consideration, of course, is Fire Blast, seeing how often we're stuck with Fire Blast, or where we're worried about our opponent's Wasteland, so we aren't casting Fire Blast. That definitely happened a few times in this league as well. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, you guys. Take it easy.